1990s in car audio was definitely a boom. Amps like this Alphasonik PMA-2100ix was popular due to its price versus performance, and the graphics definitely remind me of Saved by the Bell and that 90s era. Here, the PMA-2100ix we'll take a closer look at. This is a stereo amplifier rated 100 watts per channel and Korean made, USA designed. And here on one end of the amp you can see very simple, just has a switch for normal and low pass for the crossover, a level control, and also RCA inputs. Not a whole lot going on there. On the opposite side, we just have the power and ground cables coming out, and we have this Molex style plug, which we'll show here in a minute. It's where your speakers and everything plug into via this hateful pigtail system. So you plug in your Molex connector here to the amplifier, and then you have your wires just kind of stringing out. And what I like to do is get these little terminal strips. I'll leave a link in the video description so you can pick those up. If you want to hook up an old amp like this, it makes it even more like a newer amp. And here on the bottom, you can see Berkeley, California, Alphasonik Incorporated, designed in USA, assembled in Korea. And we're going to take the bottom off, but you know we're going to make you wait till later in the video. Let's go back to May 1993 in the audio magazine Car Stereo Directory. We'll see the PMA-2100ix for $349. That is equivalent to $745 in 2023. We'll also compare that to the April 1993 Car Audio and Electronics Directory. Again, the same price, $349. And at the time, that was really a deal for a 200-watt amplifier. This amp measures 13 inches by 7.1 by 2.1 millimeter equivalents are there as well. And for ratings, 4 ohms, 100 by 2, 2 ohms, 100 by 2, or 4 ohms, 200 by 1 bridged. It's always fun for me to pull out these old amplifiers from way back in the day, in this case 30 years ago, find out how much power they actually put out. Here on the dyno, you'll see the power output in watts, you'll see the ohm load, and the voltage. We'll also have the remote display so we can calculate efficiency. This is a Class AB amp, so don't expect it to have good efficiency. First up, we'll try 8 ohms, 2-channel. It's not rated at 8 ohms for 2 channels, but we decided we'd try it anyway. 1 kilohertz track. Certified, we get 43 watts per channel, 14.26. Uncertified takes us up to the clipping point. Again, 1 kilohertz will write exactly the same, 43 watts per channel. Now we'll send the dynamic tone of 1 kilohertz into the amplifier, and shockingly, we get nearly identical, 43 watts per channel again. What about the efficiency at 8 ohms? Well, this is about as good as it gets for this amp, 60% efficient at 8 ohms. Now let's go to 4 ohms. Stereo rated 100 watts by 2, between 11.5 and 16 volts because this is a regulated power supply. Here we go. Oh, a little shy there. 68 watts times 2 at 14.16. What about uncertified? Do we get a little more? No, we get exactly the same. 68 watts by 2, 14.14. Dynamically, can we get that 100 watts? I'm afraid not. 83 and 73. 83 and 77, so right about 80 watts per channel, and then the efficiency at 51%. Trust me, it only gets worse from here. Now we're going to try 2 ohms, 2-channel mode, again rated 100 watts by 2. Certified test first, 1 kilohertz. Can we get the 100 watts? No, 87 watts by 2. I do like the way the channels are evenly matched though, which is pretty crazy from a 30-year-old amp. What about uncertified? We get a little bit closer, 89 watts by 2, right at 14 volts, but not quite there. What about dynamic? Can we hit that 100 watts by 2? Yes, we can, easily, averaging about 118 watts per channel at 14.14, but hold your breath for this, 38% efficient. That's not very good, my friends. Let's bridge the amplifier, and in order to do that, we'll use the gray wire for positive, and we'll use the green wire for negative. Unfortunately, this is not on the diagram on the back of the amplifier, so if you have one of these amps and want to bridge it, that's how you do it. Let's try 8 ohms monos, rated 200 watts. Let's see what we get here. Certified, using a 40 hertz track, we get 130. So yeah, pretty much well shy of that 200 watts. Uncertified to clipping, not much better, but a little bit. 138 watts at 14.09, and then dynamic, sending that pulse tone of 40 hertz into the amplifier, simulating musical subwoofer track. We get 147 watts at 14.24. As far as efficiency, we measured 45%. Yee, getting a little worse. What about 4 ohms though, bridge? Again, rated 200 watts, 4 ohms mono. Let's try certified first at 40 hertz because we want to simulate a subwoofer. 166 watts. So again, well shy of that 200 watts it's rated. Now let's try the uncertified track. Takes us up to clipping. See if we can get in closer. Not too far. 183 watts, 13.97. And lastly, we'll try the dynamic track. Oh yes, we busting 200, my friends. 221, 14.14. So we did it. 223. See, it boosted up just a little bit there right at the end. And what about the efficiency? 36%. About like your high school algebra grade. Anyway, let's move on to the results. We just pretty much showed all these tracks here. The stereo tracks were tested at 1 kilohertz. You can pause this if you want to view it closer. Also, for the bridge track, we use 40 hertz. Again, pause it if you want to see, but we didn't meet the rated power except for the dynamic track and the lowest ohm load. This is a full range amplifier with a subwoofer crossover, so we're going to try it with bookshelf speakers, then try it with a subwoofer. So let's roll that beautiful beam footage. Three kinds of bass. Woofer test, Alphasonik 2100. While you're watching the speaker flex here, I gotta say, with the bookshelf speakers, I was impressed. Sound quality was very good, and with the subwoofer, holy moly, can't believe 150 watts sounded this good with that 6.5-inch Savard. Well, let's take the bottom panel off of the amplifier here and find out what makes this thing tick. Here we go. You can see the plethora of wires and electronic parts, including this single-sided circuit board with through-the-hole components. 2200 microfarad 50 volt Samyang caps here. Also 50 volt 1000 microfarad Samyangs. And you may notice, hey, these caps are leaking, but that's really just glue. Although these caps are swelling a little bit and most likely need to be changed. With that said, amplifier performed okay. Did not really pass the amp dyno test, but still it survived it, which is pretty impressive for a 30-year-old amp, especially a budget amp like this one. Hope you guys liked the video. Make sure you smash that thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you like these kind of tests, because more are coming very soon.